Hello everyone, so today the video is going to be a little bit different. If you read my blog or if you've watched some of my past videos, you know that I've been trying to simplify and downsize my camera gear lately, and one of the things that I try to finally downsize is the video camera. So I'm getting rid of my a6500 with the Sigma 16mm lens. I love that combo, but it's huge and it's super heavy. I have it all the time hanging from my neck, and it hurts after a few hours out shooting. So I decided to go ahead and buy this little guy. I don't know if you can see it there. So this is the RX100 Mark V or the 5A, but it's pretty much the same camera. And it's the one that I'm gonna be using for today's video. It's gonna be more like a vlog style. We are about to leave now, this place, this Airbnb, and we're heading to Lisbon. So I'm gonna be recording and talking about this camera, why I got it, and how I'm gonna be replacing my a6500 with this little guy. But before leaving, let me show you this Airbnb, because you don't see this very often, but this one has two balconies, one on each side of the apartment. So here every morning we could see the sunrise from the bedroom, and here cooking dinner and having dinner we could be able to see sunset, and you can see a little bit of the ocean there too. So that's pretty amazing. Another thing you don't see very often in Airbnbs or hotels is Wi-Fi like this. The download speed is not bad, but look at the upload. Pretty amazing. I didn't want to leave this place. I had a really great time here, but it's time to go to Lisbon, so let's do it. So we just got to Lisbon. This is the Airbnb we're gonna be staying at for the next 2 days, and it looks pretty amazing too, so very excited about that. Anyway, as I said, this camera, the RX100, is gonna be replacing my a6500 and the Sigma lens that I've been using to record videos for the last few months. You don't usually see it because it's the camera that I use to record these videos, of course. It's not a big camera at all, but the lens is on the bulky side of things. It's a little bit heavy. That's why I wanted something smaller, even if that meant sacrificing a little bit of image quality or low light performance. Funny enough, this is full circle for me. This camera right here is the RX100 Mark II. This is the camera I started with. I used it for a while, and then I bought the a6000, this one. So this one became my video camera, and this was the combination that I used for a long time. For video, this camera, the RX100, and this one for stills. This one still works. I don't know how, because I've dropped it many times, but it's still able to make amazing images. This camera, as amazing as it is for stills, is not very good for video though. This one, the newer one, has a wider focal length, 24mm versus 28, so I can fit my face. It has an ND filter, so I can record outside even when it's bright, because this lens only goes down, or it only closes to f11. It can't go beyond that. So if it's really bright outside and you want to use a shutter speed of say 1/60th of a second, you just can't without that ND filter. And it has one built in that is very convenient. The codec on the new one is much better. It can record up to 100 megs per second in 4K, and this one can only record at 24 megs per second, I think. So the image quality is not as good. On the new one, it's almost as good as the a6500. In good light, it's pretty much the same. It's as good as the big one. And of course, it has a flippy screen, which makes making these videos much easier. It's true that it lacks a microphone input, but I've been using a lavalier mic, as you can see here, recording with my phone lately, even with the a6500. So it's not a deal breaker for me. It's 4 p.m., so I think it's about time to go out and explore Lisbon a little bit. So, I'm not in Lisbon anymore. This was a very fun weekend, but I'm very tired. We walked quite a lot. This is the third Airbnb of the trip. I'm gonna be staying here for a few days, and I just watched the sunset from here. The view is amazing. I really can't complain about the places I'm staying on this trip. So a quick recap about the RX100 Mark V-A. I got to play a lot with it this weekend in Lisbon. You saw some footage and some of the images. I have some quick thoughts to share with you. So this is a comparison between this little guy and the A6500 plus the Sigma 16mm lens. This one is obviously much smaller, so it makes it more convenient to bring with you everywhere. Like for example, I was able to bring it with me both nights, Friday and Saturday nights, for dinner and take some night shots, so that was cool. The stabilization doesn't have IBIS like the A6500 does, but I believe that the stabilization, at least in 1080, is better in this camera. It doesn't have as much bokeh or bokeh as of course the 1.4 on an APS-C sensor, and that to me is an advantage because sometimes it was just too much. It was blurring out too much from the shot, so I actually like the 1.8 on this little sensor. It has a zoom lens, so this is very different from the Sigma lens that is of course a fixed focal length lens. It's a prime lens, and even though I believe that having used that prime lens for the last 6 or 7 months has taught me a lot about video, because I had a bad habit of zooming in and out a lot, and that can get really annoying really quick with video. And I've noticed that this weekend when I was doing that, I was being more careful and more aware of my zooming. The RX100 doesn't have a touch screen, the A6500 does, and it's much easier to change the focus while you are recording, so this is a negative for the little camera. When the screen is flipped, you can't see the settings, you can't see the shutter speed or the aperture, which is very weird. Being small can also be a negative because you don't have as much grip and it can be hard to hold. Things that are pretty similar are the battery life, the image quality in good light, once again, is very similar. They are not really 4K cameras, neither of them. For example, the RX100 has a 5-minute limit per clip when recording 4K. Both of them have really bad rolling shutter when shooting in 4K. The stabilization in this camera is not that good when shooting in 4K. It's a lot of limitations. I used to shoot 1080 in the A6500, and I'm gonna keep doing that with this camera. I think that 4K is still not here. You have to spend a little bit more money, and it comes with a lot of disadvantages, that like it takes much more space in your computer, it takes much longer to upload, and I don't know, I think it's still not there in my opinion. The minimal focal distance in this camera or this lens is pretty similar to the Sigma. Is great. You can get really close and still be able to focus. It's rather expensive. I paid $800 for this one, while the A6500 plus the Sigma lens, I think that they go brand new for some $1,500. So it's pretty much half the price, which is much better. But I believe that for a compact camera, it could be a little bit cheaper. And I think that's all I had to say about this camera for now. It's the one that I'll be using from now on, so I'm sure I'll be talking about it more in the future. And yeah, just getting ready for this new week. This is gonna be dedicated completely and exclusively to photography. This past weekend we got to spend some time with friends in Lisbon, so I didn't have as much time to get out and make some images, but actually this week I'm here alone. This is all I'm gonna be doing, just getting out, exploring this coast that looks beautiful. Actually, I know it's beautiful because I've been here before. I'm gonna be visiting Sintra, and maybe I'll even go to Lisbon again this week. I don't know yet, but I'm pretty excited about it. I look forward to it, and I hope I can show you some of it in the next few videos. For now, thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.